Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby along with Jeff Gerard. And folks, you're in for a treat. First of all, don't forget you can go to Facebook, KHTS, AM 1220, and watch what we're doing, which is the opportunity to talk, find out what's going on when it comes to a gentleman who's doing a walk. It's called the Patriot's Walk. Right here across the United States. We're going to get into the details here in just a minute. Going to be in Washington, D.C. by the inauguration. He's currently in Virginia Beach. We have some details here when we continue through with Mr. Robert Rosendary. Let's see if he's up here. Hey, Robert, are you there for us?
Yes, I am. How you guys doing?
I am great, thanks. How are you?
I'm good.
Great. I can't hear him very well. Let's see if we can fix that a little bit. So we got a lot happening here, Robert. I know that you are in the middle of walking across the United States, but certainly in a metaphorical way in some respect as well. But
yes,
there's a purpose for this. Tell me what it is and why you chose to do this.
The purpose is for unification in America. I want to try and unite Americans and bring them back to the table. So to stop all of this upheaval and rioting, and just kind of let everybody know we're all in the same bowl together, and we should probably come back to the table and just talk about our differences. But I'm doing it to bring awareness also to the men and women in the service. And to let people know that we still respect them and we hold them in a high, at a high standards, and in memory of the Benghazi 4.
Yeah, that's important. Tell me why that's an important part to the Benghazi 4 folks that passed away in Benghazi.
That's important to me because those men, they were ambassadors, and they went over to support America, and they were left there, I think unjustly, and for me to walk and do this in their memory, it's a very big deal. It's a very big deal because I don't want their memory to ever die, and I want people to know that I respected everything that they've done for us, and they were really great men, so I wanted to carry them across the country with me as I did this.
Hey folks, a little bit of history. Benghazi is a CIA substation. It was in Libya. Benghazi is a city in Libya. The United States was funneling weapons to the rebels in Syria. That's now been known fact, and in that process, folks, those same, quote, rebels that received all the weapons and support from the Hillary Clinton State Department actually are today called this little thing called ISIS, and the United States left them behind. It's pretty sad, certainly very I don't know the right word, politically charged. So what we do is we say, look, those were men that died. You had the ambassador Chris Stevens, and you had three other guys that went to his aid and that fought and fought valiantly when they were attacked by some of the terrorists there. We seem to forget about them. It becomes all watered down in this. And you said, I'm going to take this walk from basically the Bay Area, walking across the United States, going through the South, and some of it is a walk, but you also stopped along the way. Tell me about some of the places you stopped.
Yes, I stopped. My first stop I stopped at VA hospital and VFWs. And the biggest thing, it was important to do that because the walk, what I was doing, it wasn't groundbreaking. 21 people had already walked across America. I decided that in my walk, I would try my best to stop at military installations, and shake as many hands with as many active duty and retired veterans as I could. VA hospitals has been the big thing for me because there are a lot of men and women who are laying in those beds right now, and I think people forgot about them. And so I went in, with loads and loads of flags to shake their hand and let them know, that there's a patriot walking across the country that believes in them still and appreciates their sacrifice.
Hey, folks, part of the process here is, as he stopped at VA hospitals, you also carried a message to America's law enforcement. That's kind of close to home here in Santa Clarita. We are just north of Los Angeles, if you know where Six Flags Magic Mountain is for some of you. It's the amusement park. But through that process, there was a bit of a healing, if you will, as you're an African-American veteran, and you said, I'm going to stop at some of the law enforcement places along the way. And you happened to do that and talk to folks as well. Tell me about that.
Yes. When I stopped because our law enforcement I don't think they get the respect that they deserve because they have a hard job to do too. People will say that they don't defend, but they actually do defend. And I wanted to get next to them as close as I could and shake a lot of hands And the first one was really big for me. It was when I was in Houston, Texas. I was walking down the street, and I literally walked right into the new, we stopped and talked for a minute and got my picture taken with him, the new chief of police there. He came up from El Paso,
Wow.
and he and I had spoke. And, I mean, the reception that I got from him, he was really wide-eyed and couldn't believe that, he was talking to me, and we were shaking hands, and, just was blown away that, there was an American who was coming to, pay his respects to them and, put them, let them know that I cared about them, that they have a hard job to do, and, that I was going to be praying for him, and, that I did pray for him, and, told him I hope that they make it home at night.
Yeah, that's an important part. And then along the way, you picked up a local sponsor who actually added some cream on the top, if you will. It's called Grace Alley. Grace Alley is a flag company, American-made, right here in the United States, headquartered in Santa Clarita and in Florida. They have a coalition, if you will, a partnership with you, delivering flags, having them touched by different law enforcement and agencies across the United States. And you have a goal with some of those flags. Tell me about that.
Yes, they believed in what I was doing and or what I'm doing, and it was amazing, because like you said before, I'm already shaking hands, walking across the country. I'm active duty, retired. It's been a blast to have something to actually give them something they can see, touch, and smell. But the biggest deal to me is the flag that I have. It's a 5x8. It has a ledger with it, a leather one, and that is a flag that I hope to put into Donald Trump's hand with signatures from active duty, retired, and law enforcement. They're writing their names, their rank, what they do, if they're retired, when they were in. But they're also writing on the bottom a little. They're giving him a little advice and a little encouragement in his hopefully next 4 years.
Very exciting. The walk across the United States, when I mentioned, was a bit of a metaphor as well, because along this journey, there's some bad weather, so of course, you took a ride now and again, but that doesn't change the journey, because the walk is not just the walk physical, but it is a walk of some of our young men and women that return from the military, from war, and including law enforcement. People forget that PTSD or the kind of things that you see in a day-to-day life can and does have an effect on you. So your walk is about a life-changing event, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I want to, when I say awareness, it's not about, it's definitely wrapped in respect, but I mean, you just hit the nail on the head. There are a lot of men and women that come back with PTSD and, a lot of different ailments and disabilities, and they I feel like they fall to the wayside. So I want to, in my walk, I've met a lot of them, especially going into the VA hospital, and I just really want people to open their eyes to the fact that these men and women, they serve so hard and they're gone from their loved ones for so long that when they come home, there are things that may be wrong with them, and, they're going to need medical help or they're going to need mental help, and, we need to facilitate that somehow. We need to lift them up versus knocking them down.
What inspired you to do this? What was the thing that said, yesterday I'm in, quote, normal life, going to work, doing the thing, and then tomorrow I'm going to be walking?
It was, I'm a military brat. My father was 2 tours in Vietnam, and he passed away, a staff sergeant. So I didn't really get to know him because I was only 6 months old. So when that was a big thing for me to walk, because I wanted to honor my father and I wanted to honor his name. But in the end, it was really the election and seeing all this separation and division in America. It was a lot. It was a lot to take in, because I'm a man who lives here with my children, and I want to see them left with something better. And as it stood, there was a lot of rioting and people stepping on the flag, and just really a lot of disrespect in America. So I sat with it for 72 hours, and 72 hours later, I took up my own challenge and said that I was going to walk. And, I knew that walking wasn't going to be it wasn't going to be like this huge feat, because it'd been done 21 times, but, I brought a message with me, and that's what's most important to me, because I wanted to walk and deliver this message.
I like the fact that you're stepping up and doing something, as opposed to so many people, especially pundits on TV and radio, who always have something to say and who feel like their words can help protest and make a difference, and certainly in some cases maybe it can. But more importantly, you're stepping out and you're saying, listen to who I am, listen to my story, but don't forget that we're still a nation.
Exactly.
How many states did you touch as you went across? You have any idea?
I left from California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, North Carolina.
You got Georgia.
Carolina. So all Georgia, and altogether 10 states. And so at the end, it'll be D.C. or Virginia, so it's 11.
Yeah.
I guess altogether now. Yeah. So I'm almost to the finish line. I'm actually in the window. So I'm in Virginia, on Virginia Beach. And so I'm here, and so I've hit 11 states, and through those 11 states, VFWs, VAs, just your regular American patriot who just believes in what I'm doing, and a lot of military and law enforcement, which has been amazing through each state, and I probably have, about 15 or 20 cards from, law enforcement that, we're saying, if you're ever here again, definitely give us a call. And, I've called some, and they've called me and checked back, and it's been really, really great. Like, it's been awesome. It's been a blessing.
I like the idea that this is something you've done, and you have children, and what an example, right, to talk to them and to see them, especially when there's the other side of things where they can hear the negativity, and yet they see their dad stepping out and making a difference. Thanks for doing what you're doing. I know, Jeff, you had a question. I'm here joined with Jeff Gerard, the Director of Operations, and my co-host here.
Hey, Robert, I love what you're doing. I want to just, give you a bit of my mind, just the support that you have over here from all of us, at least here in California. And I want to just echo everything Arif said about what you're doing. It sounds like, one of my questions was, what type of reception are you receiving from all the people as you're entering new cities, new states? Talk a little bit, without going into too much detail. Have you had some opposition along your journey?
There was only one time that I ever really, the reception wasn't good. It was when I got to El Paso, and it was, I would say that it's about 98% or 90% Hispanic. So they didn't really like what I was doing. And, but I weathered it, I kind of scaled back a little bit of the verbiage, like talking to people, I kind of scaled that back a little bit. But, outside of that, some of them, like, be careful, we don't believe in that kind of thing. Outside of that, as I got out and I made my journey out, it's been amazing. Everybody in America beyond El Paso, all of Texas, they received me beautifully. Opened their doors on Christmas when I had nowhere to go, and invited me in for dinner. And I got to meet people's families and was adopted. And it's been awesome. All the way across outside of El Paso, it's been amazing. Like, they've all shake my hand. They love the flag. It's been great. Like, the reception from Americans has been pretty awesome.
One of the things that we look at, though, Robert, as we cross the United States, is we look at such a different culture across the board. We have different people, different organizations, different things that matter. Everybody has their own conversation that they have and issues when it comes to the election, pro or against, extreme or this extreme.
Right.
Is there a common denominator that you've heard across the board that you might say, here's one or two items that if I have a chance to talk to President-elect Trump, I'd want to tell him this is what these 10, 11, 12 states have told me?
Collectively, it's kind of the same at the end of the day. They want change, and they would like to be heard. They want him to come back down to our level, and get out there. He's already been out there, but they all just want to be heard. They want that change, and they see it coming, and they feel it. But, ultimately everybody says the same thing throughout the state. Just tell him, he needs to listen to us and, just really, hear the people's voices and take us into consideration and, just kind of take some of that stuff that they're saying and implement it into, his policies if he can. So
and
that's kind of, that's really what I've been getting.
And, Robert, folks, just an update. We're talking to Robert Rosendary, the Patriots Walk, on your place for News Talk and Information. This is hometown station, your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Arif Halaby along with Jeff Gerard at Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. As we expect some big changes coming in the year, good, bad, and different. We're not sure. We think something's going to happen as the economy, certainly you've heard me rail against the, quote, Unaffordable Care Act or the Obamacare Act. Yeah. What it's done today is put more people have chosen to not have insurance than are actually covered under the plan that were not covered before, right? You can't count the same guy who had insurance yesterday and now he's on Obamacare. You can't count him twice because he already had insurance. He didn't need your help. But the new ones and the new folks that got insured, there's about the same amount who have chosen to be uninsured because the deductibles are so high. So if there's something that I can communicate to you that we're seeing that our clients are talking about is, make some changes here. Just because you're paying $150 a month and you call it health insurance and you have a $15,000 deductible or a $12,000 deductible, you don't really have insurance, you guys. You're still paying for it out of pocket.
That's right.
You can call it whatever you want.
Absolutely.
But it's not health insurance. The health insurance reform deal wasn't health care as much as it was health insurance reform, has really, it's put a big burden on people. And I think that would be something that we're hearing on our show that would be great for you to take back to Mr. Trump and to some of the elected officials that you're going to talk to.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly with the Affordable Care Act. I mean, I feel like, a guy coming from the South, and I was one of those people who went, privately and went and got my own insurance because I didn't, it didn't help. And then I watched what it did to people in my family, like my great-grandmother and my grandmother, they still go without, medication at points and things like that because it didn't work for them.
Yeah.
And I hear you completely on that, and that's like a big thing for me. So that's one thing I will promote, for both of us.
Well, it sounds like you've got your hands full. I hope you're taking notes across the United States, and maybe there's a journal or something. I don't know if you're journaling or if you have.
Do.
Awesome. So
I have a journal. Yeah.
Maybe that's something that we can look forward to, and maybe a booklet or a pamphlet or maybe even a little book. Your stories,
Absolutely.
The things that you have, some of the challenges, some of the good things. Give me one thing.
I'm going to make a DVD because I have 3 GoPros with me, so I'm going to make a small DVD with commentation. Like I'm going to commentate it, throughout. It's probably going to be about 20-25 minutes, but it's going to be, everything that I've done, interviews that I've done. I've been lucky enough to meet, people from foreign countries, Nigeria, Ireland, the UK. So I'm going to try and incorporate all that. Maybe I'll take your thing and add that as well, like a little pamphlet, little literature in there, so that people can, read back on what I did. It's kind of like a reminiscing.
Yeah, it would be helpful, of course, for those that are following you. I know you have quite a few followers across the United States, all different ways. Some picked up along the way, some were there for a while, and then they kind of passed you off to somebody else. As we finish up with you, because I know you've got your hands full, you actually have plans. Tell us what you're up to next.
Oh, up to right now, I'm at Virginia Beach. I've been lucky enough to be linked up with a great Patriot. He's active duty, and I'm about to step onto the George Washington.
And that is one of the United States' newest aircraft carriers.
Yes, it is. Oh, so you know your stuff.
I do, just a little bit. Yeah, I love aircraft carriers and love what the men and women do. Will you tell them for us, thank you for all that they're doing, the sacrifices. And folks, the sacrifices aren't just giving your life. Of course, that's the ultimate sacrifice. But it's being away from your daughter's dance recital, your son's first T-ball game. It's being away from your family when there's a birthday party or somebody passes away and you can't be there to hold their hand. These men and women are standing at the front line, and they're doing so not for $500,000 a year in income and a take-home car, but for often just about the poverty wage. In fact, if you have a full-time job flipping hamburgers, there are places like California that say that your job is more valuable than those men and women serving on the front line because we're going to pay you more money. And that is just
wrong.
Ridiculous in my opinion.
That's wrong.
So you tell them we know about them, we care about them, we pray for them, and they're in our thoughts as you continue this journey all the way back up to the from Virginia Beach up to Washington, D.C. And
definitely,
we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for being there for us.
Man, anytime. Thank you guys for having me on.
You're welcome, folks. That's Robert Rosendary. I'm Arif Halaby. That's Jeff Gerard on your place for news, talk, and information. Stay with us. We're going to continue in just a minute. And of course, you can go to Facebook Live, go to hometownstation.com, click on Total Financial Solutions, or go to Total Financial Solutions Facebook. You can follow us live as well. On AM 1220 KHTS, we'll be right back.